Hi everybody, my name is Ryan Neal.
And I'm Joe Mara, and tonight we're going to be talking to you about the Ben & Jerry's final project. First, I'm going to be talking to you about the history of Ben & Jerry's. Ben & Jerry's was founded by Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield, and it began as a gas station in Burlington, Vermont in 1978. They began by selling ice cream over the counter in scoops and in pints, and committed to a social responsibility of caring capitalism, where they donated 7.5% of their profits to social causes such as healing Mother Earth and creating a better living. One of the two major players in the super premium ice cream market, Ben & Jerry's held 34% of the market share, and Haagen-Dazs held 44%. The current strategy of Ben & Jerry's is a fun, relaxed company. As you can see by the picture, they have Ben & Jerry themselves eating ice cream in their tie-dye shirts, having a good time. Ben & Jerry's is also big upon social responsibility, and they rally on being the underdog in the business world. And Ben & Jerry's always had a problem because they lacked effective management sensibilities, and they never had a professional CEO involved in their company. But that took a turn when Ben & Jerry's hired an experienced CEO, but he had no previous company history. He was more known for turning troubled companies around, and that was Perry Odak. Ben & Jerry's has 4 strong core competencies. First, they have strong relations with local distributors, and they are loyal to local producers. This goes a long way in business by staying loyal to your producers. Second, they have a great knowledge and understanding of how to compete in a premium product market. By selling premium ice cream, they need to know how to compete in the premium market, and they do a very good job at that. Third, they endorse corporate philanthropy by enhancing public relations and raising employee morale across the business. And lastly, they have a strong competitive advantage by having technological know-how and being the first company to put food chunks into their ice cream. The business challenge that we found is that the growth rate is sluggish and market shares are decreasing. The biggest challenge Ben & Jerry's is having is how to make a profit. And making a profit comes from future growth from these 3 areas: new products, innovative changes, and non-US markets. Now, Ben & Jerry's must properly implement a strategic plan because they had recent failure with it, and by entering Japan, one of the largest ice cream markets in the world, it is important to have a strategic plan behind you at all times.
Now I'll be going over the pest analysis of Japan from 1990 to 1997. For their political analysis, we found that there's been a decline in tariffs on the dairy products. Economically, there is an increase in convenience store share of the ice cream market, there's a weakened economy, and Asia is currently going through a financial crisis. Socio-cultural, there is milk and cheese consumption is lower than the US, there's trends towards single-serving cups, and for technological, there really is no technology at that time. So here we have Porter's 5 forces of Japan's ice cream industry. Right here we have the supplier power, which we believe is moderate. They do have dairy farms, forward integration possibilities, substitutable products are available, and there's also a very high product differentiation already established in the market. The threat of new entrants up top we believe is low. This is due to the high barriers to foreign products entering the Japanese market due to the high tariffs, the immense distance to ship the frozen products, the risk of the negative exchange rate movement, and the high product differentiation that I mentioned was already established in the country. The industry rivalry, we believe, is also very high. Haagen-Dazs is already very well established in Japan, as well as Glico, Morinaga, Miyagi, Snowboard, Luge, and Lotte. There's also, again, that high product differentiation we talked about, the low switching costs, a declining industry growth, as well as a high exit barrier. The threat of substitutes is also very high, with there being frozen yogurt, water ice, popsicles, sorbet, for example. There are also the low switching costs. It's very possible to just buy one of their frozen yogurt rather than ice cream for very low switching cost. And also the substitutable products quality is also equal to or greater than that of ice cream. And then finally, with the buying power, we also believe that is very high. This is because of the institutions already established in Japan, very, very large institutions. The convenience stores, supermarkets, outlets, the backwards integration in Japan, and again with the low switching costs. So here we have Ben & Jerry's VRIS analysis, where we will be analyzing the company's resources and capabilities. We will be determining how valuable, rare, costly to imitate, non-substitutable they are, as well as their competitive consequences, performance implications. So first of all, there will be the anti-corporate style. We believe this is very valuable to the company, and it is also very rare to find, and is also very costly to imitate due to the risks that it would take. It is also very non-substitutable because not many corporate-run companies would want to switch to this. Competitive consequences is that it is a sustainable competitive advantage, and the performance implications are above average returns for Ben & Jerry's. The high fat content of Ben & Jerry's ice cream is also very valuable to the company and to consumers, and is also rare in the markets. It is not very costly to imitate, and it is not non-substitutable. The competitive consequences are the temporary competitive advantage, and the performance implications are above average to average returns for the company. The chunky ingredients that Ben & Jerry uses in their different flavors is also very valuable to the company and rare, as they were the first to do it, and is not very costly to imitate, but many cannot do it as well as them. It is also not non-suitable, and the competitive consequence is that it is a temporary competitive advantage, and the performance implications are above average to average returns. The catchy flavor names for Ben & Jerry's different flavors are also very valuable to the company, as they are very, very catchy. They are also very rare, as many of them are trademarked, and they're not very costly to imitate. They're not non-suitable. The competitive consequence for them are temporary competitive advantage, and the performance implications are above average to average returns. Their social responsibility initiative is also finally very valuable to the company, and is very rare to find. It is also very costly to imitate. It is non-substitutable. The competitive consequence is sustainable competitive advantage, and the performance implications are above average returns. So here I have the first option for Ben & Jerry's to enter the Japanese market, and that is with a partnership with 7-Eleven. I'll be going over the pros and the cons of this option. The first pro is the immediate placement into more than 7,000 7-Eleven convenience stores throughout Japan. They'll have a costly savings, state-of-the-art logistics system to use. There will be more affordable, wider margin to protect against currency fluctuation. They'll have a 6-month exclusive rights for specific flavors only, as well as allow transfer of title and all risks for product at plant gate. They'll allow 12 weeks lead time on any order, and they will buy products directly from the suppliers, avoiding layers of middlemen. The cons are the potential control over substantial portion of Ben & Jerry's sales with combined U.S. and Japan's operations. There's also the risk of negative exchange rate movements, the commodity risk if U.S. milk prices increase, the inability to build brand capital, the risk of termination product changes in product size, name, ingredients, and packaging, slightly lower prices than Haagen-Dazs, as well as the lack of their social responsibility.
Here we have a quick video about Ben & Jerry's social mission.
Ben & Jerry's, as you know, has a three-part mission statement: product, social, and economic.
And especially the social mission part of it is probably why I've stayed with the company as long as I have.
I like that. There we go. Our approach to social mission is to actually work our way from inside the pint out. So where we want to start is with the dairy. And so we made a stand on making sure that we support all the family farmers from which we source our dairy so that they can have more sustainable, profitable family farms. And we work our way through the plant to the ingredients like sugar, cocoa, banana, coffee, vanilla. Those 5 core ingredients are all fair trade certified. As we get all the way to the packaging, how can this packaging be environmentally sustainable? So we get Forest Stewardship Council certified paperboard. As we prosper, they prosper.
We want to use our business and our business model of linked prosperity to show that the communities where we're sourcing our ingredients from, where we're selling our products, and where we manufacture our products are a part of the prosperity of our growing business.
Ben & Jerry's, in the spirit of transparency and really trying to be a better company, decided to issue a social report and an environmental report.
Like the role of my team in prosperity is helping bring that visual identity to life.
To use this company to create positive change in the world. That's what I'm hired to do.
I don't even know why. Like I don't know why. It just feels like the right thing to do.
There are a lot of places you could work and spend your day wondering if you've made a difference.
Sometimes we succeed at that, sometimes we don't, but we're not faking it.
Everyone in the world gets a positive feeling, gets a happiness when they contribute, when they have a purpose, when they make a difference in their community. We speak to the aspiring activists inside all of us.
There are little kind of flowers blooming around Link Prosperity within the company right now. That feels really, really good.
It's an important part of our mission.
That gives us, at least in my mind, the credibility to be challenging others.
And again, it's not something that we're trying to hold for ourselves, it's something that we're trying to invite the whole world to join us in.
That and 3 free pints a day ain't bad either.
So now we have option number 2 for Ben & Jerry's entry into the Japanese market, and that is to work with Yamada, the CEO of Domino's in Japan. The pros of this would be the instant expertise in the unfamiliar market offered by Yamada and his experience with introducing Domino's to the Japanese market. This would also be a relief from entry strategy and ongoing management issues. There would also be a knowledge in shipping the frozen foods from the U.S. to Japan. There would be an entrepreneurial spirit and marketing savvy in Domino's success, as well as the added selected favors to Domino's menu for the market data of customer response. The cons would be that Domino's would have full control of initial and future marketing and sales efforts in positioning, devising, and orchestrating products. There would also be a royalty on all sales that would provide marketing plan only after agreement, leaving no specific plans for consideration. And finally, the Yamada would retain rights to change the plan.
Next, we have the strategic recommendation for Ben & Jerry's. Ben & Jerry's should invest towards expanding into the Japanese market, as it's the second largest ice cream market in the world, with a $4.5 billion annual sales. Also, they have access to over 7,000 plus 7-Eleven convenience stores in the country of Japan. Next, they have a cost savings advantage with the state-of-the-art logistic systems that 7-Eleven has to offer. Also, Ben & Jerry's has access to products in the Japanese market, and there's room for potential growth for the company. And lastly, it keeps domestic business and expands new territories. Here we have the implementation plan for Ben & Jerry's. First, they need to work on their agreement with 7-Eleven and accept it. By accepting the offer, they will use the cups rather than the traditional pints because the cups have more market favorability in the country of Japan. Also, by accepting their offer, you can gain instant access to a large number of consumers. Following that, the Ben & Jerry's will still continue to produce their products in Vermont and export them to Japan. And during this 6-month exclusivity period, Ben & Jerry's should look to further agreements with Japanese companies and expand their product offering to supermarkets and other convenience stores. Also, they can create a cost-effective marketing scheme in that time and continue to use social responsibility and stick to what they do best.
Here I will be going over the risk assessment of doing new business with Japan and the 7-Elevens. These will include changing the product's design, size, and packaging that Ben & Jerry knows so well, the inability to build brand capital in the country, the termination of their social mission, which is one of the company's most valuable aspects, the inability to build relationships with other distribution channels during those 6 months, as well as suppliers. They will also be primarily relying on the 7-Eleven's resources, as they will have a very limited marketing budget. And if there is to be a financial crisis to happen in Japan that could completely devalue the Japanese currency, Ben & Jerry's could be looking at no return from their investment. Finally, we have the pro forma for Ben & Jerry's doing business in Japan through 7-Eleven. The Japanese ice cream market is currently at $4.5 billion, the second largest in the world. 7-Eleven assumes they will be able to sell 6 cups per day per store. At $3 per cup times 6 cups per day times 7,000 stores, that would be $126,000 in revenue per day. If you multiply that by the 6 months for the exclusivity period, that would be $22,680,000 for the first 2 quarters in Japan. Those numbers, based on half the year, will equate to 1% of the Japanese ice cream market, just through entering and selling through 7-Eleven. The costs of this alternative would include an increased production, shipping, and marketing budget. The shipping costs from Vermont to 7-Eleven's distribution hub in Japan, the increased production at the Vermont location, and finally the marketing budget for the media-seeking social justice initiatives that they should be looking for.